Firefighters weren't equipped. They were using bloody handbags to put out fires. They're filling up because their fire hydrants and all that shit weren't working. My heart goes out to everyone in the LA that's been affected by the LA fires. My prayers are with you all, and it's sad to see, and it's absolutely disgusting what is happening, and it's disgusting how this has been handled. Mel Gibson reveals what's really going on with the LA fires.
It's being reported that the LA fires are still burning, with hundreds of thousands of people still being affected by this catastrophe. So many people have lost everything in a fire that should have been handled better by those in charge. This is why more and more people are blaming the leaders of California for what has happened, as it's pretty clear they were not responding as they should have to such an emergency. Now, everyone is coming under question as people want to know why these leaders let Los Angeles down. Now, one man with a large voice has come out and has revealed what he believes really happened with the LA fires. That man is Mel Gibson, and he believes these fires were started with a sinister agenda in the works, a plan to rebuild LA. Hey guys,
the truth is, right, with the whole fires thing is, how did all the there's a lot of weird things going on. You had Kim Kardashian on an interview saying that she was packing a hotel full of her stuff months ago, aka basically hinting at that she knew that it was about to happen, the fires. Secondly, right, there's a lot of misinformation going on in regards to how big the fires are. Like there's some people posting on Instagram, like scrolling on TikTok with the Hollywood sign being on fire, but yet they're in Hollywood and it's fine. And then we have all these massive amounts of farmland on fire. Like, what is the plan here? Has people forgot about the Maui fires? That's what happened in the Maui fires. The fires happened, the houses burnt, and then, big corporate companies and shareholders, aka BlackRock and Vanguard, went in there and bought it all out and started building their own little smart cities. Like, let's be real for a second. Let's keep it 1,000. That's what's happening. They're building, they want to rebuild their own city and their image. It's getting very scary, guys. These fires aren't just anything. These fires are quite significant. And how did they start? They don't just randomly start all of a sudden. Like, let's be real, it's winter over there. And they started all pretty much at the same time. The whole, pretty much of LA went up in flames. So, had to be somewhat organized. And again, all these celebrities coming out saying all these things about how they prepared for, the fires and they dipped and all and whatnot. That just shows you that it was orchestrated. That just shows you that the truth is, this was all planned. And innocents are now affected by this. People forget about the Maui fires. This is the whole thing with desensitization with the internet. We're becoming so desensitized because crises are having left, right, and center constantly. And we're getting it pushed through our algorithms every single day. It's so bad. Like, we don't even care anymore. Like, one day we'll care, the next we're on to the next thing. It just keeps moving at the fast pace through these short attention span algorithms to the point we just forget about all these other crises that have happened. The truth is the Maui fires are very similar to the LA fires. But which one are we talking about right now? LA, obviously, because it's more relevant and it's happening. But people also forget about all the catastrophes that happen in Maui. Guess what as well? The houses that didn't get touched, The Rock and Oprah Winfrey. Both those houses completely not touched, completely normal. Nothing was burned. Not even a hedge on the outside of their lawn was burnt. Yet all the other houses did. Why do they have these blue little sheets on there? What they're doing? Is it direct energy weapons? Like, you gotta ask these questions. Yes, you could call me a tinfoil hat guy. I don't care. But let's be real for a second. Shit's happening. And for people higher up to predict this and like Kim Kardashian preparing, that tells you that there's something bigger going on. Regardless if you want to admit that my tinfoil hat conspiracy theories are real or not, the facts are the facts that she stated on an interview this week, that she was packing for months of all her stuff in her house in a hotel so it wouldn't get affected by the fires.
I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we will be talking about Mel Gibson exposing the LA wildfires. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my patrons know, I just dropped a new Patreon exclusive on a Survivor Patreon member. It's only join, you description into it. As of right now, the LA fires are still going, affecting thousands of people. So many people have not only lost their homes, but their businesses, and some even their lives.
It's crazy. A lot of people have really suffered from this catastrophe, right? And the other thing too is the firefighters weren't equipped. They were using bloody handbags to put out fires. They're filling up with, because their fire hydrants and all that shit weren't working. It's very strange, guys. Very strange what's going on. Regardless if you want to admit that my tinfoil hat conspiracy theories are real or not, the facts are the facts. They were unprepared. It's wintertime. Celebrities are pretty much going out unscathed and had well preparation for this. And people have died. And it's happening again like it did last year with the Maui fires.
I brought up many of the questions people are having when it comes to this fire. How did the fire spread to so many different areas of LA? Why did the mayor of LA reduce the firefighters' budget by $17.5 million?
There you go. Like, that's insanity. That's insanity, man.
A few months before.
And apparently, a lot of insurance companies pulled out and reduced their coverage with insurances for houses and that a week before the fires happened. Just like Maui.
For the fire. Why was there no water in many of the fire hydrants when the firefighters were trying to stop the fire? And also, why were the insurance companies refusing to give out home insurance policies specifically for fire emergencies and canceling existing policies just months before the fire?
Canceling them. Like, what the frack? What's going on? You gotta ask these questions.
Add this with the fact that multiple people have reported seeing alleged arsonists starting fires all throughout LA. You can see why people have become suspicious of all of this. All of these questions have led people to start questioning what caused this fire and why did they let it burn so much without it being stopped. People are now asking if this was done intentionally by a powerful group of people who have sinister plans for LA. Does this have anything to do with the Olympics? Is this connected to LA's plans for smart cities? From everything I've seen with this fire, I believe something suspicious is definitely going on. It all seems like a perfect domino effect that was set up to happen in the way it did. Random fires spark up, and then there's no water to put them out, no insurance to help those who lost their homes rebuild, and a fire department low on resources to fight this fire. It just seems like everything was put in place well before it happened to make sure it all went down just like it did. That's just my theory though from what I've seen reported. Now, I'm not the only person who thinks all of this is quite suspicious, as the actor Mel Gibson has gone on mainstream media to basically imply the same thing. Mel Gibson was one of the actors who lost his home in the LA fires. He had a home in the Malibu area of LA, and unfortunately for him and his family, it was in the path of the fire. Luckily for him, he wasn't home when the fires passed through and was in Texas on the Joe Rogan show. His family was able to leave the home safely before it was too late for them. Still, Mel lost everything he had in that home, as it was burnt down, leaving nothing behind. Since then, Mel was invited to Fox News, where he was asked about his thoughts on the fire, where he basically stated that it seems like the fire was somehow intentional and the failed efforts to put it out were orchestrated.
But they were predicted. I know you know that last weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they said this could be tragic with these winds. Any fire starts.
Sure.
Do you believe in what you know so far,
anything
anything could have happened like this?
Yeah, well, one always suspects that this might happen, but one thinks that the resources, and the capabilities of the men and women will be on standby, that they'll be able to cope with any situation that comes up. But apparently, some people were asleep on the job. Someone should answer for it, but we'll see. I think we know who the culprits are. In fact, my son he's a member of the volunteer fire brigade. He sort of interfaces between LA County Fire and people, and they assist them where they can during, before, and after the blaze. And apparently the residents in Corral Canyon caught an arsonist up there. And the guy was all tooled up with fire gear and equipment and stuff like that, and ready to go, and he had been lighting fires. But they corralled the guy in Corral Canyon and gave it to the police. So
yeah, apparently that.
See what I mean? Who paid that guy? Who got him all that equipment? They said he had a lot of equipment, and he was starting fires. What's gonna happen? Why is that not getting pushed enough? Why is no one talking about it enough? It's very weird, Chad. Very weird.
actively going around looking at these conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, Mel, that individual was never charged. It's a very confusing set of facts because apparently he was reportedly trying to light things on fire.
And he wasn't charged. How do you not think that doesn't come from the top? How do you not think that there's actual political and powers to be influencing this? How do you not think that? That's what comes to my mind. Yes, the tinfoil conspiracy theories. That's great. But the truth is that someone that was burning houses and starting fires got out scot-free. No issues. Nothing. He's a free man. Gets to go on his life and do what he likes. And he's destroyed people's lives. He's a catalyst for it. He's a part of it. He's an accomplice. And he gets absolutely nothing but a slap on the wrist. And people have died. Like, that is insanity. That is absolute insanity.
But it's not the fires, I guess, that they... I mean, it all seems very bizarre, but they have not ruled out that arson could have started the first fire. There's obviously still investigating this, and at the same time, Mel, there are numerous complaints, as you alluded to, that the fire hydrants did not have water pressure, and the LA fire chief...
He looks like he's holding back too, like he knows, bro. Mel Gibson knows what's going on.
...herself reacted. Watch this.
My stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants.
Well, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be,
Smart cities, BlackRock, Vanguard, just like Maui. This is the thing. Happened in Maui. We knew what happened. Now look at LA. Same thing. It's almost the stories and the things that are going on is almost identical. And they're a year apart.
Do they want the state empty?
Well, Mel, there's already talk, and we played a couple of sound bites of reimagining the way rebuilding occurs. And obviously there's a great need for high-density housing in California and across the country. That's a big push by climate folks. And you're already hearing rumblings of that. In this case, like goodbye single-family homes, hello high-density housing.
Yeah. It's pretty scary, and it'll take decades to do that too. It's like even if it if it's a good idea, which I don't know if it is, but reminds me of the old cattle barons clearing people off the land. But clearing people off the land, it just seemed a little convenient that there was no water, and that the wind conditions were right, and that there are people ready and willing and able to start fires. And are they commissioned to do so, or are they just acting on their own volition? I don't know. But they seem pretty well equipped, some of these people that they're catching.
A lot of...
He's proven a lot of good points.
A lot of questions. A lot of questions.
As you heard for yourself, Mel believes the fires were likely orchestrated, believing that it could have been an effort to snatch the land, essentially forcing people off their land. Now, if we look at all the suspicious things I pointed out, this would actually make sense as so much went wrong. If this is true, then the fact that the hydrants had no water and the budget cuts all start making sense, especially the insurance companies not covering people's homes. This
Crazy.
is
like there's too many coincidences to the point where, like, how much are you gonna walk around with your eyes closed until you realize that all the things are lining up? Maybe it is all connected, instead of being a freaking idiot and go, oh no, it's just natural disasters and climate change. Oh my god. It's cold, normal winds, and people have got caught lighting fires, and you want to sit there and say, oh, it's climate change, it's a normal thing, it's just a natural disaster. Yeah, right. You go with that, buddy. And then next fucking 20 so years, you have LA is full of just a smart city. We'll go with that.
all being set up to make sure people don't have a choice but to sell. Now, if you guys saw my last video on the wildfires, then you would know I spoke about this clip from the governor of California. A woman who was talking with a reporter about the damage the fire had done to her community spots the governor. She then runs up on the governor and questions him about what's going on, with the governor lying to her face, claiming that he was on the phone with the president trying to find a solution. When the concerned woman asks to hear his conversation, he then switches up and starts to claim that he has no reception and hasn't been able to talk to the president.
Okay, I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry.
This was truly alarming, as the one man people were supposed to look towards during these moments of unrest was so quick to lie without hesitation. When the woman asked for proof that he was on the phone with the president,
it's almost got to the point too, I've come to the realization, it's like, people don't want to believe that the world can be so dark. Obviously there's light, there's no dark without light, and etc., the yin and yang of the world, but people are so delusional. Like, this guy is lying to your face. Houses are burning down, people are dying, and yet some people just want to walk around and just say, it's just natural, you know? Just natural. No, it's not. History repeats itself. It happened last year with Maui, Hawaii, fires. Has the same recipe. Governments, neglect, lying, and cooperating with the agenda. Celebrities lying and getting somewhat no ramifications. And people getting caught actually causing the fires. Yet, people still want to believe that LA is just a natural thing. It's like, no. Do we have to be an absolute, like, in a box in smart cities for you to believe that this is actually happening? Like, this is the thing too, like, we're getting to the point where, in society, you pretty much have to have it all happen to believe it's true. Like, you could see all the signs, you could see it gradually changing, but yet you have to have that freedom or that situation happen, that freedom taken away or that situation happen to actually believe it. You have to live it to believe it, rather than seeing it and anticipating it. It's like, the world's becoming lost.
President, he changed his story.
And then some people want to say, well, maybe God's doing it. Like, a lot, you know, some Christians and that are saying, and religious people, oh, maybe God decided that, you know, these fires needed to happen because LA's a demonic place. Okay, well, maybe he's living through these people, and maybe that's a part of it. Maybe that's part of the punishment. But also, too, it's almost like this was all orchestrated. And maybe, yeah, maybe God wants this demonic place gone, but maybe also, too, a demonic place is going to be rebuilt. Do not be mistaken. Do not cop out and say it's just a religious thing. Might be. Maybe God did that to punish the satanic people. But now Satan's going to hit back and create a dystopia world in LA and the world. You know, people did die. So, definitely keep your mind open. Don't be so closed-minded to say, oh, God did this. Yeah, good on him. They deserve it. No, because innocents died from this. People died. This is real. And history keeps repeating itself. Maui wasn't a complete demonic place, you know? And it had the same thing happen to it. And I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep comparing it. LA fires are pretty much the same as what happened to Maui. And people forget what happened to Maui. Because people are desensitized, because of the algorithms with short attention spans, pushing an agenda constantly and changing, and there's a new thing, and a new thing, and a new thing, to the point where they just forget about the past. But history repeats itself. What happened to Maui is now happening in LA. That's the truth.
Rather quickly, proving he doesn't seem to care about what was happening to the people. Now, the reason I bring this man up again is due to what he recently said during another interview. In this interview with NBC News, he stated some rather interesting things that seem to confirm what Mel Gibson said and my very own thoughts about all of this. According to the governor, they are already working on a plan to rebuild LA, calling it LA 2.0.
There you go. What a better way to rebuild a whole state, a whole city, than to just tear it all down in one go. Like a fire. Burn it all to a crisp. That makes it easy. You don't need demolition at that point. You don't need people to consent to it. You don't need people to be okay with it. A natural catastrophe, here you go, here's money. We're going to rebuild your house for free. But it's going to be in our image. That's what's going to happen. And this time, you get an extra boost of money. Here you go for your family because you're living in a time of inflation and poverty. But while we're doing that, just so you know, you only own a percentage of this block. You only own a percentage. And here are the things you have consent to. Here are the things you have power over. And these are the things that no matter what happens and what you want to complain about, we have control over.
Going as far as to claim that it would be better than before.
Was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those three iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking and reimagining LA 2.0, LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders.
Yeah, well, you clearly don't have all your resources and your mind to one thing. You're already thinking about the future. You're not even focused on the fires. You say, oh, we're trying to handle it. Why are you having an interview and discussing about the future of LA? How are you going to rebuild it? How about salvaging? How about protecting? How about trying to fix it rather than making it new? Maybe some people don't want it new. Maybe some people like LA how it is.
Already talking to business leaders and nonprofits.
As you heard for yourself, the governor straight up admits that while the fires are still burning, they are already administering a plan to build LA 2.0. Now I wonder if these plans have anything to do with the smart cities that have been promised for LA in 2028. Could all of this have been a plan to destroy in order to rebuild? Could this have been what they wanted all along? And it's the reason there was no water in the reserves to put out those fires.
Crazy.
To me, this
It's winter, so you can't say there's a drought. Like, this is insanity,
explains
man.
everything that went wrong. The way the governor is saying this with a smile on his face is rather telling. He doesn't look devastated that he let the people down. Instead, he looks happy, almost like their plan went according to plan. That term, LA 2.0, was very telling to me.
Man.
Instead of just saying we're gonna get help for LA residents to rebuild their homes, he stated they were going to make LA 2.0 a new LA. We know that for a new place to be built, the old place must be destroyed. That's what seems to be happening here. To me, all of this is suspicious and suggests that we're not being told the truth about what's going on. Every day that passes, it seems more and more possible that this was all some sort of wicked master plan. We are told to trust our state and community leaders, but time after time, we are shown exactly why we shouldn't trust them. It's obvious these plans for our smart cities seem to have something to do with this fire. If they're going to build these smart cities, then they have to clear the land where they would go. They know that the people weren't going to willingly agree with losing their homes and properties for these smart cities to be built. The only way people would agree is if they had no choice and were forced to comply. This seems to be exactly what happened. These people weren't given the choice to choose. Their land was basically taken by force. Like I said, this is only my theory. Who knows? I could be wrong about all of this, and this could actually just be a wildfire that California, for whatever reason, wasn't prepared for. It could all just be bad luck that the hydrants weren't working and the insurance companies stopped covering people.
Too many coincidences for it to be like that. It's too convenient. Let's be factual. Let's have a truth session talk right now. These were deliberately done. This was purposely to fulfill an agenda, aka smart cities, and smart cities will be built. That's what's going to happen. And meanwhile, this is happening. Innocents have been their innocents' lives have been destroyed, and people have died from this. It is terrible. It is devastating. My heart goes out to everyone in the LA that's been affected by the LA fires. My prayers are with you all, and it's sad to see, and it's absolutely disgusting what is happening, and it's disgusting how this has been handled. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And history has repeated itself. We went from Maui to this. And mark my words, this won't be the end. Unless something changes, this is only just the beginning.